Hey everyone, you're tuned into InfoQuench with Jeff.
And Amy. Join us as we talk about anything.
And everything.
All the stuff that makes life interesting.
So let's get to it. Hey everybody, and welcome to InfoQuench. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Amy. And listeners, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and close your eyes for just a moment.
Can I do it too?
Sure.
Okay, I got it. They're closed.
If you're listening,
Tight.
do it up.
Okay.
Now picture that you pick up your...
Wait, what if they're driving? Sorry, don't do it if you're driving. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Or walking.
No, or walking, or like, yeah. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Or in a public place where you're going to get some strange looks.
Right.
Where were we? Close your eyes and
Okay.
picture yourself picking up your favorite mobile device and clicking on that icon for your social media. Maybe it's that Instagram icon, and you click on it, and all of a sudden you find out that your account has been disabled.
Oh, yes, that has happened to us, ladies
So,
and gentlemen.
Imagine the horror of this. This
You-
episode is actually, ironically, we're going to talk about social media insanity. And I don't even know if ironically is the right word. Alanis Morissette got me so utterly confused.
That's fine.
You remember the song, Isn't It Ironic? And
I remember you saying there's nothing ironic about this.
I had an English teacher that went on about how that entire song it was full of examples that were not irony.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
But I just can't, I mean, you know.
Isn't it funny that we just did an episode on the social dilemma?
Yes.
Which is, if you didn't
Maybe
listen to that,
that's why.
Maybe that's why. Maybe we got
Maybe they
flagged.
heard our podcast and punished us. Put us in social media jail. Actually, it's not even jail. Like, but our listeners need to understand. Like, it's
so this is what happened this
yeah.
weekend. So our podcast, we have a few different social media platforms, and one of them is Instagram. But we're also on Facebook and Twitter, but our biggest following has been on Instagram. I've had the account I'd started associated with the blog 4 years ago, and then when we started the podcast, I guess a year and a half ago or so, we started building it up. Yeah, we built it up.
You worked hard on
trying
that.
to
Hours and hours.
trying to have nice content, making sure when we were followed, we followed people back. Interacting on the Insta stories,
tagging local businesses and local figures and stuff.
Just trying to spread the love and building those relationships and all of a sudden
out of nowhere
we
no
went
warning.
to go onto their account and realized it had been disabled. At first it was a temporary disable. It said that it was being reviewed for 24 hours with no explanation why, and then all of a sudden I couldn't get into it at all. It basically just gives me a nice little error message in red text saying I've violated terms, but without specifying what they are. And what I soon figured out is that there really isn't an easy way to contact Instagram to get help in this case. So a lot of times you would do it through your account. So I have tried to go through my own personal Instagram account and request it that way, but I'm having no success after a few days of trying.
No.
There isn't an email address, there isn't a live chat, there isn't a phone number.
It is bonkers that a multi-billion-dollar company like Instagram doesn't have some kind of way in which you can refute their claims that you violated their terms and conditions. It's bonkers.
It is, and when in searching and looking at YouTube videos and reading Reddit threads, I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people who've gone through the same, and sometimes the accounts come back, days later, months later even. I read one account where
whenever they get around to it.
Came back 8 months later. Some people never get their accounts back without any explanation. I don't know whether we were falsely reported. Our content has always been appropriate. I'm careful that whenever I use photos, it's zero comment, so it's there's no licensing issues, or it's our own direct content. So this just really got us thinking and having the conversation about the value you put on social media, and then how easily something like that can be taken away, and how does that impact you?
It was really it was devastating for both of us. We both had a hard time with that because I saw how much work you put into it. It's not just the social media aspect. It's like the whole idea of following people and like, you know,
It's a building of
creating a
relationship.
community.
Yeah,
Building
creating
a
that-
relationship with, let's be honest, like it's our
Other-
brand.
other
you know?
podcasters and,
other
uh,
podcasters and stuff.
and a lot of
all
local-
those comments and conversations are gone. Like for now, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to come back.
Jeff has
but
more
it's
faith
pretty
than I do.
frustrating. It's pretty frustrating without a doubt.
So it, you know, I think it really made us think about that, and then, you know, having the conversation with people. How would you feel if all of a sudden you've lost your Facebook account?
Yeah. I mean, I contemplate getting rid of Facebook, especially after watching The Social Dilemma all the time. I think about it all the time. I rarely use it now. Like, even when I do, I'm like, this is all I'm using it for? Like, why do I even have it?
I think there are a ton of benefits of social media, and I really enjoy it. But I think we also have to be aware of how much content we're putting there, and do we have backups? And a lot of times that's where we put all of our memories, and if that is taken away
know.
from us for whatever reason. And a lot of times, you know, the reasoning behind not being able to get a hold of somebody is just the pure volume of accounts that are run through these social media platforms. It's all, you know, bots that are monitoring any of the reports that come through. So if you don't have the right wording or, you know,
Right.
something to catch somebody's eye. Essentially, I've read several places that if you don't know somebody who works at Instagram,
You're done.
And yeah, you're pretty much done. You're out of luck. So we're lucky enough that for us, it's not monetary source. You know, I know a lot of people that are,
Not at all,
using
no.
Instagram more, you know, for business income and that sort of thing. For us, it's, I mean, this is a hobby podcast that we just really do for our own fun and like
So-
to spread the word about it. So help us spread the word through other ways and tell your friends about InfoQuench.
Well, or just like if you know somebody at Instagram, get them.
Yes, if anybody from Instagram, if anybody who works at Instagram's listening,
You screwed up, man. You screwed up.
well, and I had people ask me, just go ahead and start another account, but that's a pretty hard thing to do
I know, considering
who's to
how
say-
we just lost everything. you
And
know.
who's to say it
let's
wouldn't
be
happen
honest,
again?
you did the Instagram. Like I didn't do one single post. You did it all, so it's a big loss, especially for you.
So we'll give you an update on the next episode to see if we've made any progress whatsoever with this. But this episode, enough about us.
Yeah, enough about
7 minutes of us venting about our Instagram dilemmas. But I wanted to just talk about some of the insanity around social media. So I decided to Google that. And there is a lot of great information and factoids. Is that a word?
Factoids. Let's get to factoid
Before we get to that, I want to talk about one
What?
factoid, is that I am so happy you've convinced me to buy these fancy wine glasses at
Yes.
Luckett Vineyards when we were there
Aren't
in
they
Nova
nice?
Scotia.
Aren't they
Because
nice?
even when I drink my cheap grocery store wine out of them, I feel
You feel
fancy.
very fancy.
I feel
and that's what
feeling fancy.
You didn't want to. You didn't want to at first.
I didn't want to splurge
I know,
what
but
was
I
it,
was
$12
like,
or $13?
You will use them. Yeah,
Which is
they're only-
funny because if you bought a glass of wine at a restaurant, you're paying close to that anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean,
and you get a
that-
glass you can just use forever until you break it.
And they get a lot of use, so you know I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, they
at
get a
all.
little bit of use.
They get a little bit. I mean, just a little bit.
The logo is still there.
Right.
So it's etched in.
It's
I don't think
fading.
it'll wear off.
But it's yeah.
So, you know what? Life's too short, people. You don't know when your Instagram account's going to be taken away from you. So invest in the nice wine glasses.
Get the
It's
fancy
worth
glasses.
it. Get those fancy glasses. According to Hootsuite, as of July 2020, more than half of the world uses social media.
Half of the world.
51%
Wow.
of the world uses social media. Now, in contrast, if you're just looking at the internet in general, 59% use
Yeah.
the internet. So there's only about an 8% difference of people who are using the internet and not using social media yet. So still room to grow without even getting further internet penetration.
I'm wondering. One of the things that I often wonder is there a more, responsible alternative to Facebook for social media? You know, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything out there that compares to Facebook.
Well,
You know?
I think when you have
Excuse me.
responsible, how do you feel because they have so much power?
They have the power, and they decide not to do things perhaps that they should, like ban hate groups and stuff like that. They don't necessarily do that as easily as perhaps they should.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I mean, it depends. If you want to just have a group with your friends,
Yeah, well, you could just use
Have
their
a
other
good-
thing, Messenger or whatever.
or you could just have a good email string. Do you remember the
Yeah.
days when we used to
Oh,
just
yeah.
forward jokes by email?
Oh, geez, those days
And
have
you-
never gone away.
Yeah, and you get the
I still
chain
get
letters.
the crazy.
Do you get forwarded jokes by email?
No, but I do remember the chain letters and stuff.
Oh.
You're right, yeah.
I mean, we used to get the old cartoons and
That
well,
was
I
the
guess
only way to
memes
do it, though.
essentially.
That was the only way to do it. Now it's way easier to use Facebook. That's why, right? That's why people use it. It's so convenient.
I don't even know the last time. It's been years since I've got a joke by email.
How did you even when did you even discover that Facebook was a thing? I still remember the day I did.
2008 is when I started my account.
2008?
Yes.
Oh, I think you were way earlier than I was. But how did you discover that it was there, though? Did you just hear
Oh,
about
well,
it?
I knew it was there long before that. I guess I just didn't really see a reason to use it up until that point.
Right.
And then I started an account because I was like, oh, this thing's sticking around and a lot of people I know are on it. So
Do you remember precisely how you learned about Facebook, though? Did you learn it from a friend? Did you?
I remember hearing, I guess, about maybe MySpace first and then Facebook. But no, I don't remember. I just feel like it.
MySpace was definitely a big thing before Facebook.
I never had MySpace.
Yeah.
Maybe I just feel like it was always there.
Before
But
then,
I
it
know
was
that's not the
like
case.
community boards where
Well,
people would
IMing.
send back and forth, and then it got to IMing and then chatting, and then I think Facebook sort of filled that void. But I remember finding out about it from a friend at an old job, and basically said, "Oh, have you heard about this thing called Facebook? It's like everybody can talk to one another. It's really neat." And I'm like, And it was like still another year and a half before I joined. So it was like I was very trepidatious about it from the beginning, and I should have listened to that in a way. I
Well-
really wish I wasn't on Facebook, and I wish that I could contact everybody that I love to talk to on Facebook in a different way. You know what I mean? I do, but I mean, whatever. We're getting off topic here a bit.
Well, I mean, I didn't join Instagram until 4 years ago, so that was probably a late comer to that.
Instagram is a recent thing too.
Twitter, Twitter was sometime after Facebook, but I don't really know when, and I kind of ebb and flow in terms of Twitter usage. According to the Content Factory, 81% of parents report that their kids start using Facebook between the ages of 8 to 13 years of age. So that's the majority.
Really?
So Content Factory had a bunch of facts that I'm just going to go through. That particular one was sourced from Forbes magazine. And they said 95% of parents were aware their kids were using the service, and actually 78% of those 95 helped create the account. So I guess, parents are supporting the usage of it at a fairly young age. Now,
They've really altered it though for kids, right? They've got this children's
the messenger portion, but this is Facebook in general.
Okay.
Now, interestingly enough, in my massive search for how to fix Instagram, my little Instagram hell that I'm in,
Yes.
I saw that Facebook actually has in their terms and conditions, and I think for Facebook and Instagram, that they say you need to be 13 years of age in order to use their platform, or the minimum legal age for the country in which you reside. So there may be some countries that have a higher legal age in terms of social media usage, which I've never heard that. I've never heard a legal
Yeah.
a legal age in our country, which we proudly host our podcast out of St. John, New Brunswick in Canada. But to know that, I guess for whatever reason they've set 13 as the age, but parents are allowing their kids on at a younger age.
We
Now-
haven't even really discussed when our 7-year-old may get on there in the future,
No, that's true, and it's there's it. I think there'll probably be more secure. Hopefully, there'll be more secure protocols in place, or like there is that Facebook Messenger for kids.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be some more kid-friendly platforms out there. One thing that we mentioned in our last episode, Social Dilemma, that in that documentary, the recommendation from one of the experts was that children shouldn't be on these social media platforms until they reach high school. It was felt that during adolescence they're just far too vulnerable and to
Yeah.
being bullied, and
even then, though, it's one less stumbling block that teenagers need while they go to school. They don't need... I know it's normal for all teenagers to be on Facebook, or most teenagers to be on Facebook when they're in high school, but I mean, talk about a distraction. Talk about another thing to focus on rather than your schoolwork. I mean, if it wasn't Facebook, it's going to be something else. But, you know.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's video games. There's the internet in general.
Exactly.
So we're just talking specifically around social media. According to Social Bakers, companies ignore 70% of Facebook questions that come in through their accounts. So only 30% of people who are asking questions of companies on their Facebook accounts are actually getting responses.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I find that interesting. So if you're looking to get a response from a company about a product or something, Facebook may not be the best platform for you to be asking the question.
Twitter probably gets a lot more of a response, I would think.
And,
I've heard of that anyways.
Most Twitter
I'm not on
users
Twitter.
expect a response within an hour on Twitter. The majority of Twitter users, and I don't have that stat here, I just had read that. I read that somewhere, people, and it's definitely true. But I do think that
Well,
Twitter
if you
is... I read it on a thread. Twitter is definitely more of the instantaneous thing. Twitter's where I go when there is a power outage or a major event, political event, disaster going on. Or I need to see what's trending. I need to see what's trending.
Yeah.
Sounds so desperate. But Twitter is definitely instantaneous in terms of information sharing. Facebook for me is more, you go, you check it out, you leave, you come back. It's not urgent.
Yeah, it's true. You know what, though? More than anything, Facebook is a time waster. There's so much time spent on Facebook. I feel like, not just me, not just you, but I think all over, with everyone, that they're just not really doing anything of value.
Some of it's good communicating, though, and networking, and people are
absolutely.
using it to build businesses or also just to connect with family who may be away.
I think that is part of their algorithm, though, as far as like they do whatever they can to keep people on Facebook. They don't want people just going on Facebook and checking to see if they've got a new message and then going off Facebook. They want people to stay there. They want people to constantly. That's why, like, the market, like I every once in a while I check the marketplace on Facebook with what people have for sale. And now I've noticed that in my notifications I'm getting, hey, 20 new things on marketplace. Why don't you check them out, buddy?
You can shut off those notifications.
I don't think you can you? I don't know how.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And then when you do a new update on your social media account, then you have to shut everything off again. You ever notice that? You update your Facebook
sounds.
And all of a sudden the sounds all come back, and anyway.
They're just reminding you, hey, we control you.
So there is a little subreddit thread. It's called Data is Beautiful. And a Reddit user on that thread discovered the most popular emoji that's used on Twitter. What do you think it is?
I don't even know what emojis are on Twitter. Like, I know
they're the same as any other emoji.
Probably winky face.
It's actually the tears of joy one. The laughing so hard I cried. Not the sideways one. I like to mix it up a bit with the straight, crying or laughing till I cried, and then the sideways one.
Yeah.
Just for interest's sake. But no, that's definitely the most popular. It's the number one spot, but the second most popular is the heart.
Oh, the heart, yeah.
So there is...
I tend to use the winky face one quite a bit because I'm kind of sarcastic, and sometimes some of the things that I say could be skewed and or misinterpreted.
Oh, yeah, the winky.
So I always do the winky face a lot.
That's the perfect out.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah. You thought I was serious? Did you not see the winky face?
Huh? What? I missed something, sorry.
No, well, I just mean it's the out. It's your out. Like you could post anything. Like
oh yeah, you can post anything, and as long as you add a winky
face.
You
jerk, winky face.
Yeah. Whatever. Winky face.
According to the Consumer Technology Association
Yeah.
Of enunciation.
Yeah.
According to that association, more people own a cell phone than a toothbrush. So there are over 7 billion people in the world. 3.7 billion of them own mobile phones, and 3.5 billion own toothbrushes. Now, that particular stat is a few months old, so there may be a few more 100,000 after that was published.
That's a lot.
But still, the fact that there are more people with cell phones than toothbrushes...
That's a lot of rotten teeth, winky face.
Well, maybe people have just evolved and they're using, different things to clean their teeth than toothbrushes.
I'm not surprised though. We live in an age of technology and communication, and so I mean, people are doing what they can to
Stay in touch.
touch with people.
Maybe they're
and
brushing their teeth with their cell phones.
Maybe that's what
Maybe
they're
there's
doing.
bristles on the
Yes.
little pop-ups.
Yes.
Pop sockets.
the Colgate iPad. Or
Is that what those are called? Pop sockets? Do you know what I mean? The little thing that you pop on the back of your phone and it
oh
pops
yes,
out.
you have one of those. On
I
your
do.
phone.
You're supposed to wrap your headphones around it, but I never do because
You use it for
I prefer to
taking
just
selfies and stuff.
fight with them and try to untangle them at the end of the day.
Yeah. Not that you take a lot of selfies, but I'm just saying it's easy, right? You put it.
That's right.
do
Honey,
the
you just
Vulcan-
outed me. I take thousands of selfies and
do.
never post them.
Oh my god, you do.
I know my phone
You
storage
do.
is just done up with selfies that never get
You
posted.
really should take them off the bedroom walls, though. I'm getting tired of seeing your selfies everywhere.
I
It's
can't
freaky,
take a
actually.
selfie to
It's
save.
pretty creepy.
I can't do it to save my life. I think that other people have longer arms than I do.
Neither can I, actually. If we're going to talk about selfies, I can't really take.
Well,
selfies
and forget
all the time.
about it if we're trying to get the family in one. Like if
Yeah.
the three of us are trying to get one in,
No.
it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
They are always. It's been years and we cannot figure it out. We actually do have a selfie stick that we take with us on vacation
Sometimes when
Yes.
we remember.
when we remember. But we did use it. We did it. We brought it to New York when we went away for a weekend, and
Right.
we used it quite a bit. And because we thought if we saw someone to take our picture with our phone, they just run away with it. I'd be afraid that they're going
Which
to give
is-
us COVID if they take our phone.
I know, like we're getting way off topic here, but which is totally not what our experience of New York was like. People were like, "Oh, going out of their way to help us
Oh, I know.
find
Oh,
where we
you're
were
looking for
going."
Central Park?
It was
Come down this dark
amazing.
alley.
It was incredible. Yeah, really.
I'm just kidding. No, you're
Anyway.
right. It was absolutely great. At Flatbush, when we came up on a stop a little too early in Brooklyn, that was a little freaky deaky, but
It was.
we made it out.
Yeah,
We put our hoodies up, trucked it down the sidewalk, and
yeah,
made it to the concert.
yeah. No, Yola Tango.
Yes, yes. And a good concert it was.
Oh, you didn't care.
What was that?
You didn't. You didn't even want to go.
Well,
Did you?
I enjoyed it once I was there.
Oh, yeah, I know. It was pretty chill. It was mellow. That's why I took you to that one. We could have gone to see like, I think Primus was playing that night too. We could have gone to that, and you would have hated Primus. I know it.
Well, I mean, it was a bit of a stressful experience because we were staying in Queens and we had to go through Manhattan to get to New York. So, or
Yeah.
sorry, get to Brooklyn. So
Yeah.
just and because you're colorblind, I always have to navigate the subway system. And it was a late concert, so you're kind of getting out
So it's my fault.
in the dark in a place in Brooklyn that
Remember
was a little
crossing the
sketchy.
street because we saw these two guys arguing, and we're like, we're not going to walk through that. So we just crossed the street and then went back to the other side of the street again. Anyway.
well, we
okay,
lived to tell our
big
boring
aside. Big-
vacation story on this podcast episode. So
Hope you
there
enjoyed
you go.
your trip to New York, everybody. All right, let's go back to the the technology.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. I find this interesting because you just showed me a little picture about the whole series of photos of birds with arms. People who
yeah.
photoshopped arms onto birds.
See, that's why the internet is so amazing. For
So
things
that
like
is actually a subreddit thread with over 186,000 subscribers. It's called Birds with Arms, and you can check it out. It's a
That's hilarious.
complete niche community, but it shows how, you can get a lot of subscribers, a lot of traction if you have a niche that people find hilarious. Like
It's true. I remember
Pictures of
early
birds
on
with
in
arms on them.
Tumblr, there was a person who just took pictures of people on the subway of the books they were reading.
oh yeah,
Just like what are people reading on the subway? I mean, you could do anything. You could think of literally anything, and you could do like a Tumblr or whatever on it. You know what I mean? Anyway,
Tumblr. What is
Tumblr.
Tumblr?
Tumblr is like your
Nick-
own little blog.
You still use Tumblr?
A little bit, not
I've
much.
never used it. I don't even
Not
think I've
much.
ever, aside from you maybe holding up your phone and showing it to me, I've never been on Tumblr.
Yeah, it's just all it is just like a blog. It's just a place to put your photos or whatever,
How is it different than Facebook?
You can't really chat. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
Oh, it's just for viewing pleasure
yeah,
and
it's
that's
just,
it?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I don't know even.
So,
I use it very minimally. I put like some of my artwork up there and stuff, but yeah.
if you want to feel a little happy about Facebook,
Yeah, let's feel
and the
happy
time-
about
and-
Facebook.
well, and the time it sucks from our lives. According to The Verge, Facebook holds the record for the largest one-day stock decline in U.S. history. It lost $120 billion on July 26, 2018. And that was
Whoa.
around the Cambridge Analytica,
Oh, wow.
the data privacy scandal that went on. And
How many users did they lose, though? That's what I'd like to know.
probably zero. They probably grew in users.
Probably added users, rather.
But that basically represented a 23% drop in the price of their stock. And it was a personal loss for Mark Zuckerberg of $15 billion.
Yeah, but how much did he make through this
I
whole
know.
coronavirus? You know what I mean?
I know. That was
and-
2018. He's probably already made it back.
Oh, absolutely.
What's a
And he-
billion
he
between
doesn't-
friends?
Like he doesn't even need it, though.
15 billion.
What it must feel like to just walk around anywhere and say, I want that building. I'm going to buy that building.
Speaking of wealth, a great series we've started watching recently called Succession.
Oh, yeah. What a great show. HBO. Yeah. I mean, without giving anything away, it's about like a corporation and the crazy family that comes along with it.
Yeah, it's a rich family.
Oh, yeah.
With the acting is great. The characters are completely eccentric.
Story arcs, I find, can be a little predictable. You know what I'm talking about, too, right? I'm not going to give it away, but like I was like, I hope it doesn't do that. And then it did, remember?
Well, yeah, but it's still satisfying to watch.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you know, the fall and decline of characters and, you know, people falling in and out of love, people going for power grabs. It's all there. It's really, really quite an interesting
So
show.
there's 2 seasons of that. It's still ongoing. So if you want to check it out, check it out.
Yeah, we're just starting
wherever you
season
happen to
2.
stream your stuff.
And there is only 2 seasons, actually.
Right, but it's ongoing, so there'll be more whenever people start filming things again.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike, with Billions, where they stopped mid-season, the most recent season. That's frustrating. They haven't actually even filmed the second half.
That's
I feel
right.
like that should be against the law to air episodes of a season that you haven't finished filming.
Oh, I know. That could be done. Oh, I mean, I doubt it, but it's such a huge show, you know.
Well,
Anyway.
yes, and I mean the actors are probably needing the money after all this COVID stuff, so I'm sure they'll be back at it.
I mean,
What do you think? Oh, yeah.
I just
yep.
want to ask you. Sorry, I just this question just popped into my head, and I know I've asked you this before. Actually, I've asked you this before on a different podcast, but I'm very curious. Like, what would Facebook have to do in order for you to just delete it instantly? Just say, okay, that's it. I'm done with this company. I'm done with what they're all about. Like, what would they have to do?
Would they
what
have
if you found out that they were, I don't know, just.
Club and Seals or something?
What if you found out Club and Seals or something? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Like, you know.
I don't mean to laugh about that, but I don't. Are you talking about like something they did to me personally, or just completely ethically?
Ethically, like as a company, like what would they have to do in order for, like, what would it take for you to delete Facebook? Like,
Gee.
Like, just like that, you have to just say, okay, I can't believe that Mark Zuckerberg clubs Seals all on his own. I am going to, anyway.
I don't really know. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's so many atrocities I could think of that.
What if you found out that they had, mass graves for some of their employees that didn't quite, work as fast and as efficient
Well, yeah,
as they
absolutely.
wanted?
That would be a.
Okay, so
After I downloaded all my
All right,
data
now
and
let-
files from them.
now let's retract and like, what if they, what if they were stealing all kinds of information from you that you? What if they were spying on you with your camera? On
I'm
your
pretty
phone?
sure they are.
With your camera?
I don't know. I suspect they are.
Anyway, all right. Anyway, I'm just curious. I find that a really interesting question
Well,
because
what
I
is-
asked
yeah.
myself that question.
What is that breaking point? An interesting thing with Instagram, despite being able to have very little luck in reaching anybody, the one thing it did let me do is it sent me a file to download all my content. And I have 4 days to do it. And
like-
the clock is ticking. I have, I think, one
You've
day
been
left.
evicted from.
I was
social
afraid
media.
to download it because I felt that was the final nail in the Instagram coffin. But you know what? Maybe they've done me a favor. Maybe it was a time suck. Maybe it didn't really help spread the word about the podcast as much as I thought it did. Wow. Maybe I'm simplifying my life by having one less platform. Yeah. Maybe if they get it back, I'll still jump for joy. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
But until then, Sour Grapes. I'll see if I can download my files, and next episode I'll give you an update on our.
We'll keep you all updated.
Crazy
for sure.
status. Thanks for listening to all of our social media insanity discussion.
Yes, thank you, everybody. It's nice to be back in the saddle doing a podcast. Feels like it's been a bit, but maybe it hasn't.
Not too long.
A couple weeks, yeah. Anyway.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening.
And remember, you can catch up on past episodes at infoquench.com.
Or just about anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
And help spread the word about InfoQuench.
Till next time.